Hey there, happy Tuesday. I hope your day's off to a great start. Today we are going to address some buyer education, and I know I said last week we were going to talk about insurance today, but we're going to put that off for another week. And today we're going to talk about when you are buying a home and moving with kids. Y'all, I have twins. They're tweens now. And my husband and I have moved several times since they were born. So we've probably moved 5 or 6 times since our kids were born. We now have roots. We're going to stay right here. But I've been through this. I know what it's like to move with kids. So a couple things that helped us move with our children. Let me tell you about it now. So one, you want to discuss their fears of moving. You know, a lot of times it has to deal with not having, new friends or having to make new friends and leaving your old friends. Guys, I had to move in 5th grade, going into 6th grade. That was tough. I don't know, back in the 80s, there was no internet. There was no FaceTime or, Twitter or text messaging. It's never been easier for people to maintain friendships than it is right now. So talk to them about their fears, and if that's a fear, maybe you enable them with some sort of device, and in our house it's timed and it's monitored and managed, but maybe you enable them with some way to communicate with their friends via phone, which has always been there, but other methods such as FaceTime or Zoom calls or whatever it is, and text messaging. So that's one thing. Discuss their fears and help them come up with a plan to alleviate those fears. Another thing is get your kids involved in the house hunting. Now, I know if they're like too little, this doesn't even matter, right? Because they're not going to, know the difference. But if they are old enough to understand, get them involved in the house hunt. Ask them for their opinion. Make them feel like they matter because they do. You want them to be happy. No, they're not going to be the ultimate decision maker, but when they're looking, what do you think about this kitchen? Or, let them pick out their own rooms. If it's a 5-bedroom house and you only need 3 of them, is it going to hurt for hey, do you want this one or this one? You can give them some direction and still allow them to have some autonomy. One thing that we did is we allowed them to pick out their own room, but we also let them pick out their paint color. Now, let me just say, when my daughter picked out something beyond Pepto-Bismol pink, I stuck to my promise and I let her paint that. We have since repainted it since she's got a little bit older, and I've said, Caitlin, this is pretty bright. Mom hates this color. Can you pick out another color? And then we went through the swatches. Now, if you don't want to give them that much autonomy, maybe you pick out the shade of blue that you like, or the shade of purple that you like, or the shade of green, and you say, you know what? Out of these 10 colors, go ahead and pick your room color. That will allow them to feel like they are part of the process and that this is fun for them. And then finally, something that we did is we did a tour of the new school before they went to school. Now for us, it just worked out this way. We settled in December, and so they were starting a new school over break, right? So they had that transition time. So what we did is, because we settled in December, we called the school and we said, hey, listen, our kids are going to be starting in January there. Would it be okay if they came and maybe met some of their classmates ahead of time? And it turns out that they were having a holiday party, and they were like, why don't you bring them for the holiday party and then come another time when we do this reading thing? So our kids actually went and visited the school. We took them out of their other school for just an hour or two. We took them to the new school, and they got to have the holiday party with their new friends. They got to have some reading time with their new friends. They got to walk around, tour the school. I find most schools are more than willing to do this, more than willing to make your kids feel included and feel at home. So reach out to the schools and say, you know what, my kids are going to be moving there. Can we give them a tour? Basically, you just want to make your kids feel like they matter in this process and that they have a little bit of a say. I know they don't ultimately get the say if you're going to be moving. And if you give them just a little bit of autonomy in this, it makes it so much easier. Y'all, if you have some questions about this, like I said, I've personally been through it, so I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. Feel free to reach out. I am Shannon Milligan at RVA Home Team, brokered by eXp Realty. My phone number is 804-248-8207, and my email is shannon@rvahometeam.com. Now, if you would like a copy of our buyer guide, which is your guide from buying to close, please reach out to me. I think I had a copy of it here. It's like this one, but this is our seller guide. It's gonna have lots of tips and tricks and information that you need to know from when you just begin to think about moving into the very end. And if I was just looking there, sorry, forget where the camera is sometimes. But that will give you a lot of great information. And if you message me with your email, I will get that to you within 24 hours. I will be back on Thursday to talk about some seller tips, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, y'all.